Hello everyone, my name is MNovate and this is my Minecraft Let's Play series, Shifted Reality. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you could help out and like, subscribe, and comment what you think I'm doing well and what I could do better, I would greatly appreciate any and all feedback to help me on my way of making this channel the best I can make it. This is episode 18. Now, whilst it was certainly fun to take a break and go help Bias with the interior of one of his buildings, I need to get back to this. I took time away from my own builds, and there is still a lot to do. So in today's episode, we are going to get down and we're going to start putting in walls. Some of these wood pillars need to be removed because they're not part of the final project. And then we hopefully maybe even start getting floors in so that we can get to our own interior decorating. And don't worry about this fence. This is temporary just to make sure creepers don't come along and keep blowing me up when I'm not paying attention. Now, in a previous episode, somebody had replaced this sign with a riddle about a cow, and they've come by and they've changed it again. What day was yesterday? I mean, obviously they can't be thinking if today's Friday, then the answer would be Thursday, or if it was Wednesday, the answer would be Tuesday. No, it has to be something that's not doesn't change just based on what day you look at the sign, right? But I actually don't know what this riddle could be referring to. If you have any idea what this riddle is or what the sign means, leave a comment and help me out because I'm stumped on this one. So I went through and put down one layer of the walls that we are going to be separating this and finishing the sides of the tower in, just to get a feel for how many stacks I'm going to need. And just this one line of section required 6¼ stacks of cobbled deep slate. And it's not a precise count. I mean, obviously I put in some arches here, and I had a few misclicks every once in a while that I have to clean up. But total 6¼ stacks. So a little over 6 stacks per row per level. And this one I still have 1, 2, 3. So 18 ish, 18, 19 stacks of deep slate just to finish this first level wall. I need to go back to the mines. Here we go. I put this in just because I've never seen it before and I'm kind of curious. Do piglins always aggro on the player before they even spawn through the portal? It just felt a little weird that they were already rushing by us before, or not wearing any gold. Alright, so I overestimated the amount of deep slate I would need before this by pretty much 4½ stacks. I have a little less than 4½ stacks left, but that's because I accidentally converted some of the cobbled deep slate into walls that I ultimately did not end up using. But yeah, right about 4½ stacks is where I came out. And one of the things you might notice is the pattern on this is relatively simple as far as the texturing and some of the other texture patterns I've created across this base. And the reason for that is actually pretty simple. Once this is all said and done and interior decorated and these are used for different rooms, you're really only going to see these walls close up, and big large patterns are going to disappear, but small patterns will pop out without needing to interfere too much if I want to put a wall like right in the middle of this section or something. So that's going to look pretty good. And now I haven't actually seen the outside of this yet. Not much of this is actually visible from the outside of the castle, mainly because we're still pretty much underground. But there are a few points where it pops up. And we're going to go take a look at that right now just to... Whoa, no. Okay, that creeper taken care of. Now if we take a look at where it's cropping out here, It actually does look fairly well, at least from a semi-close distance. But the further away you get, so let's go all the way down to the base of the mountain. The further away you get, the less it's really going to stand out. And generally speaking, since it's at the bottom of the build, that's okay. I don't mind that too much. It's gonna work the way it works. The pattern will come in a little more clear as you approach and get in closer. But the next level up, that's going to be quite a bit higher and more visible all the way around. We really need to focus that we get a really good exterior pop to that pattern. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this yet, but the reason all my wireframing for the individual levels is 3 blocks tall is really so that I can put a floor in the top block and a ceiling on the bottom block. And that way the floor of the level above it does interfere with the ceiling of the level below it. And that gives me just a little more wiggle room. I can maybe play with the height and depth in the pattern of the ceiling, or maybe I can make a slightly lower section of the floor if I decided I needed that. And that just gives you just a little bit more playroom without needing to have a full plan right from the start for how you want to put your individual floors and individual rooms together. Now this next level is going to be our tuft walls. And since we know we're going to have a bit more of it exposed to the outside and making it visible from a distance, we're really going to have to get creative with a much more pattern that's really going to pop out and stand out from a farther distance to make it look good. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more tuff for this, so back to the mines I go. Alright, for the next section that is going to be the tuft, we have these blocks and textures to work with. The brick, chiseled brick, polished, and chiseled. And of course, regular tuff, but you know, you're kind of ugly, get out of there. I need something that's really going to stand out. It needs to be like eye-popping, catchy. The problem with people taking you out on their boats to show you their builds is their big head is in the way. What is he doing here? Ash, are you sure you're building a plane and not a, spaceship? Okay, this is cool as how it's starting, but he's obviously very early in his build. We should come back and look at it when it's more complete. Alright, so Ash is making a giant spaceship over the ocean. And I can't wait to see where he goes with this. But now I gotta swim back. Because I still have a lot to do on my base. Okay, so originally I was thinking about putting maybe a polished tough block in the middle. But I decided I wanted something that would pop a bit more, So that's why I kind of swapped out and put in the chiseled stone. Makes it a little different, blends in pretty well, I think. Let's look at it from a distance. Yeah, so that's going to remain pretty visible from a distance, I think. And of course, the reason why I started with this side is just it gave me a nice, large, clean canvas to work with, just so I could see how it works. I'm, of course, naturally going to have problems, like I always do, figuring out how to get it around the corners of the circle, but the straight edges, this will be pretty simple and straightforward. So let's keep going. Okay, so now we're getting a true depth of field look at how this pattern and wall is coming out. I really like how it really stands and separates from even the base walls that I had on like over here when I was building the patio. But also, if you this was actually not intentional, but if you look, my tuft wall is actually like a larger version of the end stone wireframe border. So that's going to make it really stand out and really blend in well together. But unfortunately, I am again out of tuft. And I had almost a full inventory. Yeah, downside of the automatic door. But there's always a button to override it. But yeah, I had almost a full inventory of tuff, and it just wasn't enough. And I'm only about halfway through it, so I gotta go back to the mines and do it all again. And yeah, all my mines are outside of my base. Well, looks like it's time to get back to work. Hopefully I'll have enough tuff to finish this level. Oh wow, would you look at that? 32 left out of the last mining trip. I was so close to having to go down for a third trip into the mines. But the next layer of the wall partitions is now complete and looking pretty fabulous, I do say so myself. Now, of course, this is all going to be separated out with floors later. And I never really mentioned my long-term intent. My idea is to kind of decorate this lower level as dungeons and torture chambers. Because we haven't really discussed the lore of this castle yet, but it's not a benevolent king. This is going to be hopefully a chamber of horrors that's going to be down here. And we'll see how well I can do that. I have lots of space to work with, so no reason to cram anything together. And liking the tough brick. Our server owner has given me a mod add-on by Foxy No Tails to try and create, cinematic camera shots of builds. So let's go up here and give it a shot, see how it looks out. I still think I like just having the camera account that was in spectator mode a little bit better. Could still be useful for more dynamic time lapses of building. Just playing with a new tool, maybe it'll help make these videos better or more entertaining. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, the first step I did for this level is I actually went ahead and removed some of the spruce wireframing that is on here. Now, I left it where it would be meeting up with the ceiling or the rooftop of this particular level in that particular level. But the reason I got rid of it is because it was kind of interfering with my ability to visualize where I needed to focus on building and laying up these next level of walls and what I want to do with this. Now, aside from an archway that I might put right here at the beginning, you're going to notice that while it seems like I should start having windows or maybe balconies at this level, I'm not going to be putting them in just yet. I'll carve them out later once I start working on my interior design. Right now, I'm just going to focus on making the exterior. Now, you may notice I'm not following a strict pattern like I did on the lower levels, but there's a reason for that. Is just because if I decide to do interior decorating and want to add any looks outside or exterior windows or anything like that, it can easily be put in without disrupting a larger pattern. Now these two little cubby holes, this one down here and that one up there, I put those in just in case we get a update from Foxy No Tails soon, fixing his mini block pack. There's something I've done before with that will look pretty good in there if I can find the right mini blocks. Otherwise, this larger cubby, let's see if I can parkour. This larger cubby is here specifically for this guy. And just like that, we have a nice little vanilla decoration to go on the outside wall of our castle, showing off the king's power and wealth. Fortunately, at this point, I did lose some of my recordings and data due to some video corruption on saving the screenshots. However, I did have this additional footage from playing around with Foxy No Tails camera add-on for Bedrock to try and recreate basically what you get out of the replay mod that you see so often in Java Edition videos. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not this is the best format or means of recording time lapses, but since this is what I have available, this is what I can show you. We are getting closer to having this section finished, and now we are moving on to the top level of the round tower. Alright, so this time, in order to try and prevent me from having to go back to the mines 3 times before I complete one level, I counted up and did the math budget. This should be all I need in order to complete the next 2 levels of this tower to finish it off in the same fashion as I did the central tower. So if I did this right, we will be getting this going on a full time lapse. We are testing Foxy No Tails camera add-on, and we'll see how well this works. Let's get going. Alright, that's the first level done. Let's see how our supply list is coming along. Well, a quick review of what I have left. It looks like I am right on course with using exactly half of the deep slate. But my granite, I have about 200 more walls than what I used in the first half, and 100 fewer stairs than what I used in the first half. So, excuse me while I fire the guy who did my math budget. Alright, well, let's go get some more granite. Fortunately, I do have some spare granite in my storage. I did not use it all for this project. From the First Reich to King MNovate, a gift. Fragile, handle with care. This better not explode or anything. And it's worthless netherrack. What the heck, man? And now the main tower is finished. And as predicted, I had 200 too many walls. But let's take a look. Yeah, it's coming along. It's just looking really good. Might have to go back up there and get a grander view of it from above, just to get it all in one frame. And there we have it, the new expansion of our base. Again, we are putting in a grand entryway, a throne room, and then private quarters for me and my kids to have a personal storage. Sorry this episode took a little bit longer to take out. That's our release schedule is going to slow down during the school year. As with kids back in school and extracurricular, band, all this fun stuff is taking up more and more of our time. We will be working through this as we go. But more episodes of Shifted Reality are coming as we get into the interior of this building next. And with that, that will be all for this episode, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, everyone. I almost completely forgot to come back to this riddle. I put a lot of thought into it, and what day was yesterday? Yesterday is the day that can't change, for tomorrow is the day in your hand. If you think you have a better answer than that, again, put your comments down below.